It has been great to see what God is doing in Enjoy Church Osaka. And I know as a church we went through some seasons, but God has been really great to us. And Toshiki is now running this location on the ground. And after Emily and I went back to Australia, and we've seen God is building His church, and I think that's been really awesome. And 160 people, I think, visited our church this year, and 28 people gave their life to Jesus, and 3 people got baptized. And I think almost 25 to 27 people consistently serving as a team member on Sunday, which is awesome. And I think other wins happening. I think our location situation has been really awesome. We definitely had a season that we couldn't see any salvations, but we kept sowing, we kept working hard, and we kept letting God work the best. And now we've seen the harvest, and now we've seen the salvations, and I think this is one of the greatest things that we can see. And another story that I want to share with you is John Ray. And John Ray came from West location of Enjoy Church. He came to Japan to just travel, and he tried to travel, and that was his purpose and desire. But he came to Enjoy Church. He visited Enjoy Church a year ago, and he felt he was called by God to do ministry and lead people to Jesus. And now he's involved in a core team member, and now he's involved in the team leader meetings and all sort of stuff. And now he's everywhere. And I just love seeing how God is using him as a vessel, and He's using in this nation. So what we believe in for the next year as a church is to have second service. I think second service allows us to move God more, and I think second service will make room for God to move and make room for people to join, and they can praise Jesus and worship God. And I think this is going to be our what we're expecting for next year.
Probably one of the biggest wins we're experiencing as a church family is within our infrastructure. We see that as kind of systems and leaders. If you know Pastor Martin, he is on top of us, making sure that the right systems are put in place, because when you have the right systems, health comes to the body, and we have definitely learned that over this last year. But connected to that is the rising of new and young and passionate, full of character, on fire for Jesus leaders that God is bringing to our church. As we've definitely entered into a more matured season where we're raising up, and God is bringing us new leaders to help us make disciples that are making disciples that are making disciples, which is way we transform cities. So we're super, super excited.
One of the standout testimonies that I can think of is over the summer, we were about $5,000 short to be able to pay our bills as a church. And that's not something that we have not experienced in the past, but it was a big number. And it was testing our faith. Like, God, you have always provided, you have always come through, and we see this big number and we don't know how it's going to happen, but we trust you. And no joke, a few days later, as soon as Nikki reported to us that was our shortage, we got a $10,000 check in the offering from the previous Sunday that completely covered that shortage and then some. And it was just a moment where we just got to give all the glory back to God again. And when we don't know where our finances are coming from, He always has our best interests in mind, and He has a way.
When Pastor Shane responded to my crazy email and FaceTimed me at like 10:30 at night while my wife and I were sitting on the couch watching Netflix, there's just this sense of like God saying, I see you and I care. And when you get a $10,000 check from someone you don't even know, you just get that sense of like God saying, I see you and I care. It's been so exciting that Enjoy Church is literally getting our hands more and more in the areas of our community. To a lot of other churches, we may be a smaller church, but I see us as like a special forces churches that we're never going to stop growing numerically, but we also are a church that is really growing spiritually, and I'm watching our people rise up and wanting to get out there and be Jesus to our community. And that's just what we're seeing God do. There's just a grace over Enjoy Church to be outside of the church walls, bringing the love of Christ, bringing the kingdom, bringing the gospel, bringing the truth. The Satan and the world can try to bite us, try to shoo us off, try to ignore us, but love wins in the end.
It's so exciting to see what God is doing in the nations of Japan and the USA through Enjoy Church. Enjoy, as we are called to go and make disciples of all nations, so this year we will be looking at the establishment of new Enjoy locations in Australia as well as the USA. You know, about a month ago we had Dr. Michael Maiden with us, and some of what he had to say to us was very specific in regards to these two nations, and at the same time was very much in keeping with where we're already believing the Lord is leading. You know, with this in mind, over the coming year we'll be looking to establish an Enjoy Church footprint in both Melbourne's inner city and also in Warrnambool. In addition to this, Pastor Martin and Rose Orovec have also been scouting out new possibilities in Tasmania, and will start doing our homework for a church plant in the USA. And if that's not enough, New South Wales, Queensland, Cambodia and the Philippines are also on our radar.